There are a couple of things you need to have in place and kind of start thinking about before you start selling on eBay. I broke all of that stuff down in part 1 of this eBay beginners video series, so I highly recommend you start there if you have not watched that video, especially if you've never sold anything online. That would be a good place to start. In this video though, which is part 2, I am going to be starting right from the beginning. We'll be creating an account together just so that you know your different options you have when it comes to that. Then we'll get into a quick eBay website walkthrough. I want you to become familiar with eBay's interface, know where to find different settings, and just learn about all the features that are available to you. From there, we'll move on to creating a brand new listing. I'll walk through all of the different fields you need to fill out and just give you some tips on how to make it very detailed so that your listing gets found on the eBay website. And then we'll also get into the shipping part of the listing in detail. Starting off with creating your account. If you already have an eBay account that you use for buying purposes, you can totally start there and use that one, especially if you already have some feedback on that account, which is the little number right next to your username. People just feel a lot more comfortable purchasing from people who already have some sort of feedback. So if you already have an account, use that, and you can skip this next little section. If you don't have an account, or you rather start one from scratch for selling purposes, then stick around and I'll show you how easy it is to create one. To create an account from scratch, you're going to want to go to ebay.com. That is if you live in the US. If you live in a different country, you can just scroll to the very bottom of this homepage, and down here you will see something that says eBay sites. There you can hover over and find your country, and it will take you straight to that eBay website. You want to create your eBay account in the country that you're going to be selling in. Once you are on the eBay website you need to be on in whatever country you live, you're going to click on this register button that is up here at the top left. From here, the first option it's going to give you is whether you want a personal or a business account. A personal account normally is if you're just going to use the account to buy and sell a few items here and there. You can also do the business account, and this one is more if you're going to sell on the regular basis. If you plan on doing eBay as a legit business and growing it, I think this is the one you should start with. But you can always start with the personal and upgrade to the business later. I've been doing eBay for a couple of years now, and I just recently switched to business. So it's not an issue if you don't want to go through the whole process of getting a business account. It kind of asks for a lot more information. You can start with a personal and move on to a business later. I'm going to click on business just to show you what that sign up process looks like. The first thing it's going to do is ask you for your business name. Now, your business name does not have to be a registered business name, a business that you've gotten an LLC for, or anything like that. You can put anything here. You don't have to overthink it. Pick something. You can always change it later. The next thing you're going to put here is a business email. Use any email you already have, but if possible, I recommend that you start a new email for your business stuff only, and then you're going to want to create a password. Select your business location down here. In this box, don't check it. This is only if you're going to use the account for buying purposes. But if you want to sell, you're going to leave it unchecked. Then you will just go to your email to get the verification code. Next, you will put in a username, but it's totally optional. So if you know what you want your username to be, go ahead and add it here. If not, you can always skip this and come back to it later. From here, you're going to go through these 4 steps. You're going to tell it your business type, answer a little bit about your seller account, bank account, review information, and confirm. So I'm going to take you as much as I can through this process, but I don't want to create a whole new account. So I'm just going to go as far as I can, and and then from there you should be able to do it. eBay's really good about giving you instructions. It always has lots of details here on the side, questions that a lot of people have. So if you have any questions, make sure to check out these links here on the side. For now, what kind of business type do you have? I manage my business as a sole proprietor or owner. That would mean that you've never registered your business. This is the one that most likely you will go with. Unless you do have an LLC for your business, then you would click yes. But for most people, it would be a no and click continue. Here you will fill out all of this information. There are a lot of people who hesitate giving up this sort of personal information, but this is a very secure process. Thousands and thousands of people have gone through it. The same thing applies when you come to this section of the bank account. It's going to guide you on how to connect your bank account to eBay. Again, it's a very secure process. Just go through with all of the details they're asking for, and then at the end you will review and confirm, and then you should be able to go onto eBay and into your seller account. Here is my seller account, and this is where you will land once you're done creating your account, and it should be all ready to start listing. But before we get into that step, I did want to first give you a walkthrough, show you around, and pinpoint some important areas you'll want to know about. Starting off with the home page, which is what we're looking at right here. Everything from about here towards the bottom will be just for shopping purposes only, as well as these two tabs right here, daily deals, brand outlet. That's only if you're looking to shop on eBay for something. As a seller though, there are really only 3 main places you'll be visiting quite often. The first of them being your account profile, which you can get to by hovering over your name up here. It'll say hi and then your name. Right below, you'll see your username that you chose for your store. You will click that. I have an eBay store subscription, so my page may look a lot different than yours will when you're just starting out. Later on, we will talk a little bit about what stores are and how they work, but if this is a brand new account, this is what your profile will look like. To make your account appear more professional, I recommend that you come here first thing and start customizing this information. Down here, you can add a blurb about your store, about yourself. Just let people know what kind of stuff they can expect in your store, how fast can you process the orders, and how often you will be posting. Those sorts of things is the type of information you can put in this blank section down here. Here at the top, you can click this pencil icon to edit this generic profile picture that eBay gives you. Here you can add a picture of yourself, or you can also create a store logo and upload it here. Canva is the graphic design software I use to create all of my graphics. I used it to create this logo right here, this banner that you see up here, and even the coupon image that I put right here. I do have a tutorial on Canva. I will leave it linked down in the description. It's a few years old, but I think it'll still be a useful guide to learn how to use Canva to create a simple logo for eBay. The next important section of this eBay site to know about is your account settings, which you can find again by hovering over your name here and clicking on this hyperlink that says account settings. Here's where you will go to manage, edit, and change all sorts of information about your eBay account. There's so much here. I won't go over every single thing. I'm just going to go through and pinpoint some of the most important things in each of these sections. Under personal information, you can click here to change your business name, click here to change your passwords and email addresses, and under addresses right here is where you can go update your shipping and your return addresses. Under payment informations is where you will go and add or edit where you want your eBay funds to go to once you start making sales. Under account preferences, here is a link to permissions. If you ever wanted to give someone access to your eBay account, you can come here and update that. If you ever want to close down your whole eBay account, You can do that here. Under selling, there is a link here to put your store in vacation mode. It is called time away, and this is where you can go pause your eBay store if you're not going to be accepting orders for a certain amount of time. Under shipping preferences is where you can edit whether you want to accept international orders or not, and here you can also change other important shipping settings. And the next place, which is where you will spend a majority of your time here on the eBay app as a seller, is going to be the Seller Hub, which you can get to by clicking sell right here. The Seller Hub is a place you go to find any sort of selling information when it comes to your eBay account. It would take an entire video to do a deep dive on the entire Seller Hub, but again, I'm just going to go over a quick overview of what's here. First off, this red banner here that you see, I got this when I switched from personal to business recently. It says to update my account details. I've done it several times, but this red banner still does not go away. I'll have to get in touch with an eBay representative to see what the issue is, but just ignore that red banner. It won't be on your account. Across the top here, there are several different tabs that you can go to find the information you're looking for, but we'll get started with this very first tab right here, Overview. Overview is a quick snapshot of the rest of these tabs right here. They are divided into different blocks down here, and you can always customize what your overview page looks like by clicking customize at the top right. Here you can check what you do want to see on your overview page and uncheck what you don't want to see. And you can even move these squares around too. Just click and drag to rearrange it and organize it how you want it. When you're done customizing, just click I'm done at the bottom left hand side, and let's move on to the next tab, which is orders. Here's where you will find all of your orders and the status of each order. And you can always filter what kind of orders you want to see by hovering over the tab, and here you can see different options. You can see all your orders, the ones that are awaiting payment, awaiting shipment, even cancellations and returns. And if you scroll down, you can see each individual order and all of its information. Here you can see the title, the SKU number, and how this item sold, whether it sold via a promoted listing or a coupon. You can see the buyer's name, the subtotal, and the order total, when it sold and when the buyer paid. At the top, you can use these filters to narrow down the orders you want to see on this page. Listings is where all of your listings you've put up for sale on eBay will be. If you scroll down here, you can see information about each individual listing, such as the SKU number, your current price, start date, shipping cost, and how many times your item has been viewed. Here are also some filters you can use to pull up only certain kinds of listings, and you can also click these links right here to pull up the listings that apply to this criteria. If you hover over listings here, you will also see some filters. You can click here to create a brand new listing. Active are the ones that you have up for sale right now. Unsold listings are those listings that you decided to pull down and remove from eBay because you no longer wanted to sell them for one reason or another. They go into this unsold section until you go here and delete them permanently. You start a listing but you don't finish it, it will go under drafts, and you can even schedule your listings to go live at a later date, and you can see those right here. And by the way, all of these tabs have all of these filters right below it, but you can find these same filters off to the left hand side right here, and you can find a few more as well. So if you're ever looking for something that you don't see on these filters here, check if they're here on the left hand side. Marketing is where you can go to create campaigns, sales, and coupons. Here is basically where you will have all of the tools necessary to help you make sales. But in part 3, we'll discuss more about the seller tools. Now we move on to the store tab. As I mentioned earlier, I do have an eBay store subscription. So what I see when I click on the store tab is going to be totally different from what you see when you have a brand new account. You will most likely see a page that looks like this, and that is because eBay starts you off with a free account. A free account gives you 250 free listings every month. meaning you don't have to pay insertion fees on those items. Insertion fees are basically listing fees on eBay. And if you use up those 250 free listings in a single month, then you will have to pay 35 cents for every new listing you do after that. Mind you, that insertion fee of 35 cents, it's going to be on top of the selling fee that you get charged when an item does sell. And selling fees vary depending on category. I will leave this eBay article linked down in the description if you want to go learn more about how all of the fees are structured on eBay. You can go read this. That free account that eBay starts you with is a very good starting place because you probably won't be going above 250 listings a month in the beginning. Once you do start selling and listing a lot more, then you can look into purchasing a store package subscription because that will increase the amount of free listings you get every month with no insertion fee. When you are ready to purchase a store subscription, you will click on the store tab. At the bottom right hand side, you will click this blue button that says choose subscription, and you will be led to a price chart that looks something like this. At the top, you'll see the name of each kind of store and the price per month. Below here are some charts so you can compare the stores and decide which one is right for you. If you need some help deciding when to purchase a store subscription or when to move up to a new store level, I highly recommend you watch this video by Jason Hayes. He breaks down all the fees and helps you understand when it's beneficial to pay for a store and when it's not. And of course, this video will be linked in the description. Performance, here's where you'll go see your analytics of your store and how everything is doing. You can see all of your sales, all of your traffic, selling costs, and your seller level down here. Next tab, payments. Here's where you can see all of your financials, anything that has to do with money coming into your account or going out of your account, you'll be able to see here. Research is where you will go to use Terapeak, which is eBay's market research tool. I haven't gotten around to learning much about this yet. I normally just do my research for sourcing purposes and listing prices on the eBay app or on Poshmark. But I have heard this is a great way to do keyword and pricing research. This next tab, reports, I don't use that much either, but here's where you can go download detailed reports about your listings, your sales, and your marketing. Now let's get to listing an item. There are several ways you can go about starting a listing on eBay. One of the ways is to go to the listings tab and click on create listing. Here you'll type in a short description of the item you're about to list. I'm going to be going through this listing process with these Allegria Clio sandals, so that's what I'm going to input here. And then I'm going to click this blue search button. To facilitate the listing process, eBay is going to try to get you to find a similar product that's already listed on eBay. So if you do want to go down this route, you will just scroll through this left-hand side and find one that best matches your item. These are all the same kind of sandals I want to list, but I don't see brown ones, so I'll just click these gray ones for now. Next, you want to select the condition of your item. These sandals are pre-owned, so I'll select that and click continue listing. That'll open up this listing page, and if we scroll down, you will see that some of these fields are already pre-filled out. So that's the benefit of using the sell similar option on eBay. A lot of the stuff will already be done for you, but I highly recommend if you do use this method, you go through all of this information carefully and make sure that everything that was pre-filled does match your item and make any changes if necessary. For my sandals, for example, I would have to change it from silver to brown. I may have to change the size, and I may want to rearrange this title up here. If you don't want to go down that route, from this page, instead of selecting a similar item to yours on the right hand side, you will click continue without match. Select your condition again and continue to listing. You'll be led to the same listing page, but this time there will be a lot more information for you to fill out. Only a few things will be pre-filled. There is another way you could start your listing on eBay, which is the way I do it, and that is to use a cross-listing software. There are many, but this is the one I use. It's called List Perfectly. I always come here and start my listings first, mainly because I list on other platforms and it's just easier to come here, add my pictures, my title, description, pricing, and all of that sort of information. And then from here, I can share the listing to multiple platforms at once. I'll leave more information, a coupon, and a List Perfectly tutorial down in the description if you're interested in checking this out. For now, I'm going to take these Allegria Clio sandals and share them to eBay. Select my condition, and just like that, my information that I had on List Perfectly about this item has been transferred over to a brand new eBay listing. So now my only job would be to go through this information, make sure everything is correct, and fill out anything that was left blank. So I will do that now, and along the way explain to you all of these fields and what they mean, starting at the very top with the pictures. You can add up to 24 photos to your eBay listing, and you can even add a video of your product if you want. To add a photo, just click into an empty space. That will open up your file folder. You'll just select the pictures you want to upload. Click open on the bottom right hand side and your pictures will start uploading. I take all my pictures on my phone and then I upload them to my computer using a USB cable. So that's how I'm able to easily access them when I need them to upload them to eBay. When you hover over a picture, there is a pencil icon at the top left hand side. Here you're able to edit all sorts of things about your photo. You can rotate it, increase the brightness, contrast, crop it, and you can even remove the background so that you have a clear white background. So just go through all of this, make the edits you want, and then click done here. You can click and hold your images and move them around to rearrange them in a different order. And if you ever wanted to delete a picture altogether, hover over the image and click this trash icon. All along the listing process, eBay gives you many opportunities to pay extra for extra features that'll make your listing stand out on the eBay website. And that's what this is right here, Gallery Plus. If you select it, it's going to make your picture appear bigger when it shows up in the search results. I've never tried any of the upcharges, so any that come up in this listing page, I will be skipping over. But you can always click this eye icon right here for more information. Read over that and decide if that's something you want to do. Just keep in mind that you will be charged this amount whether your item sells or not. Moving on to the next field here, and that is your item's title. One of the biggest tips I have when creating a title for your listing is to use words that people are likely to use when they're typing something into the search bar when they're looking for something to buy. This will help match your listing to people who are looking for it. And that's the main goal of a title, to get your item found. The thing is that we all use different words to find things. A top, for example, can also be called a shirt, a blouse, a button-up, a tunic, and so many other things. So that's another major tip I have, is to use as many variations of words as possible. The more different kind of words you put into your item title, the higher potential your listing will have to show up no matter how people search for it. With my title, for example, here in the beginning, I started with the brand name. That's something you always want to do. Start with the brand name. Then I put the style name of these sandals. If you can get to that information by doing a quick Google search, or if the item has it in the tag, then go ahead and put the style name just in case anyone is searching for this item that way. Next, I put platform strappy sandals. Then I have have the color and the material. Next, I have comfort sandal. So this time I put sandal as singular instead of plural because I already have plural over here. Then I just ended with the size. Each of these words in this title were chosen carefully. Each of them are different. I used as many descriptive words as possible, and that gives my listing a very good chance to show up if any of these words are typed into the eBay search bar. The section under title is called SKU, and if you don't see this field here, you can click see all options up here and make sure this custom label option is on. SKU stands for stock keeping unit, and this is a number you make up to keep track of your items that you're listing on eBay. With this number, you'll be able to search on eBay and find this item very quickly. You can also use this number to find it in your inventory system or spreadsheets or wherever you decide to put this number. That's something we discussed in detail in part 1, so if you want to learn more about how to create a SKU number system, make sure to go watch that video. This next section, item category, will most of the time be pre-filled out based on the title you put into this listing. If you need to change or edit your item category, you can click this pencil icon that says edit right here. At the top here are item categories that eBay uses to organize everything listed on their website. Down here will be store categories, and these are ones that you use to organize everything in your eBay store. This is only available when you do sign up for an eBay store subscription, so we'll go ahead and skip this part for now. The one we're going to talk about is the eBay categories. To change it, just click the blue hyperlink right below first category. At the top will be the one you have currently selected, and down here will be a few suggestions. The one you want may be already here in the suggested section, but if not, you can always use this search bar up here and put pretty much any keyword, and eBay will use that to find a suggested category for you. You can put something like dress shoes, and below you can choose the one that describes your item. You can put athletic sneakers, and here are all the category options for that. Just click the one that best describes your item and click done when you're finished. And then we arrive to a very important part of your listing, and that is the item specifics. I'm going to go through all of this information. Just keep in mind that the item specifics you see will change depending on the category that you choose up here. The first type of item specific is called required. This is something you have to fill in. You can't list an item if you leave any of these blank. So just go through here and choose everything that best describes your item, the brand, the size, the style. If you see a style here that you don't understand, I suggest using Google to learn what all of these look like and what they mean. Put in your color, your material, type, and department. Most of the time will be something that's already filled in for you because you've already filled in your title and your category. The second type of item specific is called additional. Additional specifics are optional. You don't have to fill them out, but I highly recommend you fill in as many as you can because this is going to help optimize your listing even further so that people are able to find it. But don't think you have to fill in each and every single one of them. I'd say just fill in the most important ones and the ones that you can get the information to very easily. When I am listing, I will normally have eBay open on one side of my screen. Then I will take List Perfectly and have it open on the other side. I will click the item I am currently listing on List Perfectly, and then I will use this information here on the left hand side to fill in my item specifics on the right hand side. Starting off with the UK sizing, here under my description, I don't have it listed because I couldn't find it easily. Maybe if I did lots of research on Google, I could find it, but if I can't get to the information quickly, then I just leave it alone, and I will skip it here on the item specifics on eBay as well. Heel style, I can see that it's flat from my pictures right here, so I'll go ahead and select that. In my description here on List Perfectly, I have a section called Features and Accents, so I will use this information to fill out this features and this accents portion here on the eBay listing. The closure, I know that it's a hook and loop, so I will select that one. If the item has a distinctive pattern, I will choose one of these options. Otherwise, most of the time it will just be solid, so that's the one I will choose right here. The model was automatically filled in for me based on my title up here. If it's correct, I'll leave it as is, but sometimes it fills in something that it's not, so in that case I would click on it and click on clear all right here. EU sizing is something I do have. It is 41 as my description says over here. Product line, I hardly ever mess with. The heel height, I have it in my description. It is a mid flat heel, but I also do take a picture of my item with the ruler on the back so I can easily see the heel height here too. Customized, vintage, character, those three things I skip. Shoe width, I will fill in if the item tag says it. Here's the item tag for these sandals. After the 41, it doesn't mention whether it's medium, narrow, or wide width, so I would just leave the shoe width alone in the eBay description. Outsole, insole, and lining material, again, is something I will fill in only if the material tag on the shoe specifies. These particular sandals, the bottom sole is rubber. The insole, it doesn't tell me, but the lining material, it does say that it's leather. So I will go ahead and select that. For theme, I do have a section in my description down here that says theme, occasion, and season. So I will use this little section to fill in these three corresponding fields on eBay. And the rest of these fields, where it was manufactured, is it personalized, handmade, California warning, all of these things I just skip. I don't think I'll need this List Perfectly window anymore, so I'll go ahead and X out of this and go ahead and maximize this eBay screen. The next thing we get to is condition right here. It will be already selected because when you start a brand new listing on eBay, that's one of the first thing it asks you, the condition of your item. But if you ever wanted to change this, you can just click on this. That will bring up this window with all of your condition options, as well as a short description below each to tell you what they mean by each one. So select the one that best describes your item and click done. Then we get to the listing description. My description gets transferred over from List Perfectly. On List Perfectly, I use templates to get my descriptions done quickly. As you can see, my descriptions are pretty lengthy and detailed, and that is only because I use the same description to list on all the other platforms that I use. And those other selling platforms don't have a space to fill in all the different specifics like eBay does. So the description is my only opportunity to add all of this extra information the buyer may want to know, as well as more descriptive keywords to help my items get found. But since eBay has lots of specifics to fill in, you don't need to get this technical with your description if you're only going to be listing on eBay. Instead, you can keep your description short. Just give a quick description of your item. You could also make a note of your shipping time and your return policy. Or what I see a lot of people do is take this title up here and copy it and paste it into the description. So this is all that will be in their description. I don't think you can leave it blank, so you must put in something. So if nothing else, just copy and paste your title. Now let's move on to the pricing of your item. Before I jump into all of the information here, just a heads up, what you see down here will depend on which options you have toggled on here under the see all options section. I have best offer on because I don't care if people send me offers coming from other selling platforms. I'm used to selling most of my items via offers. I have scheduling on even though all of my listings go live right then and there as I'm listing my items. I hardly ever use use scheduling, and I have private listing on because I don't care if people buy from me on the private basis. I've had this on since I started eBay and I've never had an issue. These two right here, volume pricing and sell as a lot, are more for sellers who will be selling multiple of the same kind of items. That does not apply to me, so I leave those off. This first one at the top here, you will turn on if you want eBay to automatically fill your listing price for you. They will use other similar sold items on the eBay website and come up with a pricing for you. I rather do my own research and come up with that information myself, so I leave this off. Let's go over one of the many ways you can do pricing research to come up with a price for your item. This is the most simple way, and there are a lot of other things you can do, and you can make it a little more complex, but this is a good starting point. To start, I'm going to go up to my item title. I'm going to highlight and copy the first part of this title. In this new eBay tab, I will click into the search bar and paste my title and click enter to search. Here are my search results for this title right here. The first thing I want to do is switch it from all listings to buy it now. I do this because I don't want to see any listings that have auction style on. Those listings usually sell for way less or maybe even way more depending on the item. I'm selling all of my items via buy it now option, so that's the kind of listings I want to see. So just looking at about the first 3 rows or so, you're going to look at each of these listings one by one, take note at what their listing price is, and come up with an average. Now you don't have to take out a calculator and do exact math. What you want to come up with is just a ballpark number. So after looking at these 3 rows, the average that I came up with was anywhere from 28 to 35. That's about how much these sandals are listed for. The next thing you want to do is look at these kind of sandals that have actually sold on the eBay website. Here on the left hand side, you're going to scroll down and select this sold filter right here. This will show you how much these kind of sandals have actually sold for in the past. And here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to scroll through the first 3 to 4 rows, look for sandals that look similar to the ones we're about to list, and see how much they have sold for in the past. Here we have these that are 38. These sold for $59.99. It has a slash through it, so that means they accepted an offer. We have $34.98 right here. We have these that were brand new that sold for $48. So after looking at those few sandals, I think that it's safe to say that they sell anywhere from $35 up to $38. So from here, I will just take those 2 numbers, the first one that I got from the listings on eBay, and then the number I got from looking at the solds, and I will use those 2 numbers to come up with my listing price. The listing price I went with was $40 because I expected to sell anywhere from $28 all the way up to $35, and this will give me a little bit of room for offers and for promotions as well. So that's all there is to it. There's no exact science, no exact pricing strategy. Everyone goes about it in a different way. Some people shoot high when it comes to their pricing, and then they will send deep discounts. They accept offers and sometimes even offer free shipping. Other people will list on the lower end and they don't accept any offers at all or send any sort of discounts. Over time, you will find your zone and what method works best for you, and eventually you'll be able to skip the whole research part some of the times, because after listing a lot, you will start to know how much you can expect to sell an item for. The next part of the listing process is shipping, and just like some of the other sections in this listing page, page, you can adjust what kind of shipping options you want to see by clicking here on See All Options. Read over these and decide which ones you want on and which ones you want off. There are 3 things you have to decide when it comes to shipping, and that is your shipping method right here, your cost type, and your shipping service right here. Shipping method is pretty simple. If you click on this down arrow right here, you'll see that you have these 3 options. Standard shipping for small to medium items, freight for oversized items, and local pickup only if you want to sell to buyers who live near you. Most of us are going to go with this first option, standard shipping. Here's where you will put your package weight and your package dimensions when they are required. And then we get to the second part of the shipping, which is your cost type. The first one is calculated shipping, which is the one I have chosen already right here. With calculated shipping, you are required to put in your package weight, and that is because that's what eBay will use along with the buyer's location to auto calculate the shipping cost for you. As an example, if the buyer of these shoes chose calculated shipping when they were listing them, then the price I would see right here is going to be based on my location in relation to the seller. If you live in a totally different location than me, then you would see a different shipping price than I do right here. The second cost type is called flat rate shipping, which you get to by clicking this down arrow and switching it to flat rate right here. As you can see, the package weight now says optional next to it. That information is not required anymore. And that is because with flat rate shipping, the shipping fee is the same no matter where the buyer lives. eBay will not calculate it for you, and you decide what that flat fee price will be when you're listing. With these shoes, for example, if the seller chose flat rate shipping and she input $14.95 as her fee, anyone who comes across this listing would see this price. The third cost type is free shipping, and to activate that one, we would first have to choose a service. We are going to talk about services in detail here in a moment. For now, I'm just going to select any so that I am able to show you that free shipping option. Now we have this box here. Here's where you would input your price if you went with flat rate shipping, but for free shipping, to activate that, you would toggle this on right here. If you go with this option, the buyer will not be charged shipping at all. You'll have to pay shipping from the payout you get from your listing price only. The one you choose out of these 3 is going to totally depend on how you choose to run your business. There are some pros and cons to each of them, which I talk about in this eBay shipping video right here. So if you want a little more detailed explanation about these cost types to help you decide which one you'd like to go with, go ahead and check out that video. After cost type, we come to domestic services. This is where you choose your shipping services, meaning which carrier you'll be shipping your package with. There are 3 shipping carriers to choose from on eBay. There's UPS, FedEx, and USPS. Unless you're shipping a super heavy item, most likely USPS will always be your best option. USPS is the only one I use, so that's the only one I'm going to be going over in this video. Earlier, I added a shipping service. I'm going to go ahead and click these 3 dots right here and click delete service so that I can start from scratch. To add a shipping service, you're going to click this plus button inside this box. This will bring up all the domestic services available on eBay. They are divided into different sections with these bold headers at the top. And there are 4 different types of USPS services I use. The first one I will use sometimes when I am selling books or DVDs is called Media Mail, and that is found under Economy Services. It is this one right here, USPS Media Mail. This is the one you will use if you're shipping any sort of educational material like books, DVDs, or magazines. This is always going to be your cheapest option if you're shipping something like that. And with this option, you must use your own packaging. So any polymailers that you buy, any boxes you buy at the store, or you can even reuse packaging from your online orders. If the item I am going to ship is not considered medium mail, say it's clothes or shoes, but it does weigh below 1 pound, then the one I will go with is first class, which you can find under standard services. It's this first option. It says USPS first class. And just as a side note and a reminder from the first video, when I talk about weight, I mean the item and the package you use to ship the item in, as well as any packaging material. After all that, if the package weighs 15.99 ounces or below, then this will be your cheapest option, first class. And with this one, you will also use your own packing material like a polymailer, a new or a reused box. If the item weighs 1 pound or above, it no longer qualifies for USPS first class. Then we must move on to the third and fourth options, which you can find both of them here under expedited services. The third option is priority mail, and it is this first one, USPS priority mail. With this one, you can also use your own packaging, but unlike the other two that we talked about, it's not mandatory. It's optional, because if you live in the US, USPS gives you free priority mail boxes and envelopes to use. To get that free shipping supplies, just Google USPS free shipping supplies and click this free shipping supplies link right here. As you can see, everything is marked at $0. You can choose whatever you want from this page and it will ship to your home for free as well. If you need a free priority mail box or envelope right away, you can also go to your USPS office and you can get it there for free too. On this website, there are 3 different kinds of packaging. There is priority mail packaging, which is the one that says just priority mail on the title. There's priority mail flat rate, which we're going to discuss next. And there's also these blue packages that say priority mail express. These are used for overnight shipping. They're more costly and I never use these. The ones we're talking about right now will say priority mail only on the title, and the packaging itself will say mailing on the front of it. This box, for example, says mailing box. This envelope up here says mailing envelope. So anything that has this in the title and labeled this way in the packaging is a suitable option if you choose this on eBay, USPS priority mail. And the fourth USPS option I use also here under expedited service is called priority mail flat rate. This is the one you'll also use if the item is over 1 pound. But unlike the rest of the other 3 options, this one does not depend on weight. And that is because with this one, as the name says, the price will be a flat rate, meaning it will be the same cost no matter where the package is going and no matter the weight. With this option, pricing is determined by the type of packaging you use instead. And there are 6 priority flat rate options to choose from. There's these 5 right here. And if we scroll down, there's another one here at the bottom. Each one of these flat rate options will have its own flat rate price. And since pricing is determined by the type of packaging and not by weight, with this one you cannot use your own packaging. You must use the designated USPS packaging. So if I chose this medium flat rate box as my option, then I would have to use this medium flat rate box from this USPS website. If I chose this padded flat rate envelope, then I would have to use this priority mail flat rate padded envelope to ship my item. So let's go over a few scenarios and I'm going to show you which shipping service I would choose. And I'm going to change this to calculated shipping just to make it more simple. Let's say the item weighed 8 ounces. If the item I was listing was educational material, of course, I would go with this medium mail option right here. If it wasn't, then I would go with USPS first class. If the item weighed 15 ounces, again, I would go with USPS first class because it's still under 1 pound. If the item weighed 1 pound, then I would go here, delete this, this and change it to priority mail instead. And I would go with this first one, the regular priority mail, not any of the flat rate options. If the item weighed 2 pounds, I would still go with this USPS regular priority mail. If the item weighed 3 pounds, I would still go with this USPS regular priority mail. So basically, anything over 1 pound will always go with priority mail, not a flat rate option. I never choose the priority mail flat rate options when I'm listing, and that's because when an item does sell and I go to create the label, I can reassess the shipping options and change my shipping service if I want. So at that time, if I see that a flat rate option is actually going to be cheaper than this regular priority mail, then I'll go ahead and change it. And at the end of the video, I am going to show you how to create a shipping label, so all of this will make a little more sense. For now, let's get to finishing this listing. This next little section here is international shipping. This is something you turn on under account settings, selling, and shipping preferences. With international shipping, eBay takes care of everything for you. All you have to do is ship your item to eBay's domestic shipping warehouse, and from there, they will make sure that it gets to the international buyer. So basically, international shipments are treated like a normal domestic order. All these shipping settings up here would still apply, and you would pack and ship it as you would any other order. Then we get to preferences. If you click this pencil icon right here, you can edit any of your shipping and selling settings. Just make the changes you want right here and click done. Next up, we have promoted listings. This we're going to talk about in the next eBay video, which will be part 3. For now, I will just give you a quick overview of what this is and what it means. If you turn on promoted listings right here, eBay will promote your listings higher in the search results, which will give them more visibility on the eBay platform. But you will have to pay an ad rate, and you can choose what you want that ad rate to be right here. So when an item sells due to your listing being promoted, this percentage of your final sale will go to eBay to cover the price of the ad. And now we're finally at the end of the listing page. These last two things I never mess with, but if you'd like to change your settings there, you can click the pencil icon right here. When you're done, just go ahead and click this blue listed button. And now your item will be live on eBay. The last few things we're going to discuss is what happens when you make a sale, how to create a shipping label, and where to see your final earnings for sales that you've made, as well as eBay selling fees. If someone messages you with a question about your item, they send you an offer, or they end up purchasing one of your items, you will always get a notification that you can find here under this bell icon right here. You'll also get notifications sent to your email that you use to sign up for your eBay seller account. And when someone makes a purchase from you, they will pay the listing price or an offer price if that's how the sale was made. They will pay the shipping price that you set if you chose flat rate shipping, or the shipping price that eBay calculated for them if you chose calculated shipping. And if you chose free shipping, then the only thing they would pay is the listing price. Those two fees plus the taxes will be the buyer's order total. As soon as they make that payment, eBay will give you that payout, and from there you'll be responsible for creating and buying the shipping label, which you can do by going right here to orders awaiting shipment, and you'll click on this blue hyperlink that says purchase shipping label. That will lead you to this shipping page. On this right hand side, you can see your order details. You'll see your item information at the top, who you're shipping to, where it's shipping from, expected delivery date. You can see the shipping service right here, and you'll also be able to see how much the buyer paid for shipping. And the very last thing is your printing format. This is how you will be printing your shipping label. Click change to see your options. This first option here, 8x11, is if you're using a paper printer, and here's what this shipping label would look like. All you would have to do is print this using a regular paper printer, cut a along the both lines around the label using some scissors, and then using some clear tape, you will tape this to your package. This next option, 4x6, is if you're using a thermal printer. And here's what this would look like. Thermal labels won't need to be cut and they won't need to be taped because they use sticky paper. So all you'll have to do is just peel the back and stick it onto your packaging. This last option, 2x7, is again for thermal printers only, but these are for the smaller ones that can print 2x7 labels. And here's what this one would look like. It's a smaller, more condensed version of the 4x6. I use a Dymo 4XL thermal printer. That one only prints out 4x6 labels, so this is the option I go with. Click save when you're done making changes. I told eBay that the weight of this item was around 1 pound, and I chose USPS Priority Mail as my shipping service. But this 1 pound right here is just an estimate. Before I go on to finalize and purchase my shipping label, I do want to get the actual weight of this item. So here's the shoes that I'm going to be shipping. Since these are over 1 pound and I chose Priority Mail as my shipping option, I can either go with my own packaging like a box or a poly mailer like this one. I could also go with something like this mailing envelope from the USPS website, or even this mailing box. If these were chunky shoes, then I would probably go with a box. But since they are lightweight and flat shoes, I'm going to use this mailing envelope right here. That will keep the weight of this package lower and therefore my final cost lower as well. To keep them extra protected though, I do like to go ahead and wrap them in this bubble wrap that I buy from Amazon. This and any other supplies I talk about will be linked down in the description. Then I will go ahead and put them in this envelope. But I am not going to seal the envelope just yet. I want to make sure that this is the packaging I want to go with. For now, I'm going to get my final weight, which is 1 pound and 1.3 ounces, but we always want to round up. So I'm going to put 1 pound and 2 ounces on eBay. Now I will go back to eBay and input the new information. I will put 1 pound, 2 ounces as my weight. As for dimensions, they don't really matter unless you're shipping very large items. As you can see right here, it says the max dimensions is 108 inches. You can click here to learn more. Most of my packages never go above that, so I never really worry about taking any length, width, or height measurements right here. With those 2 extra pounds added, my price for this shipping label, if I went with this option, would be $8.82. I listed these shoes with calculated shipping, and eBay calculated that the buyer should pay $10.65 for shipping. So I'm in the clear. The buyer paid enough for shipping, and that extra dollar and change I get to keep as profit. Now, if the buyer had not been charged enough for shipping, I'd be responsible for paying the rest, and it would come out of my profit. So that's why it's very important that you choose the right shipping options, the services, and prices when you're creating your listing. If you want to see if there is a cheaper option than the one up here, you can click this down arrow that says compare all services. This will give you a list of all the USPS options and the shipping prices off to the side right here. This one right here, media mail, would not be an option for me because this item does not qualify. It is not any sort of educational material. This legal flat rate envelope right here is a lot cheaper than the regular Priorities $8.82, and my shoes may fit in there, but I think they'd be too squished, so I rather not go with that option. Same with this padded flat rate envelope. It is $8.30, so a little bit cheaper, but again, since the shoes are a size 12, they would not fit in here. If the shoes were a size 7, 8, or something smaller, then they would fit more comfortably in this padded flat rate envelope, and if that were the case, then I would go ahead and choose this option and use a padded envelope to ship my item instead. And the rest of the options from here down are a lot more expensive than the regular priority mail. Therefore, for this packaging, my best bet is going to be to stick to USPS regular priority mail. So that's the one I'm going to stick with. Once you choose your shipping service, then you'll get to additional options right here. Here you can choose to pay for extras when it comes to your shipping and other things. The only option I have selected is this add custom text on label. That way the SKU number will be right on the shipping label when I print it, and this just helps and makes things easier when I'm shipping multiple packages at a time. Next we get to shipping label format. You can either go with a printable label, but if you don't have a printer, you also have the option to use a QR code. If you choose this, the label QR code will be sent to your phone. All you'll have to do is take your packaged items to a USPS office, show them the QR code, and they will print the label for you. And to finalize your shipping label, all you have to do is tell eBay how you want to pay for the label. Your first option is if you want the cost to be deducted from the final earnings of the sale. The second option is if you want to pay for the label via PayPal. Once you choose your payment option, just click Purchase Shipping Label right here and print your label. Then all you'll have to do is adhere the label to your package, take it to your post office, or you can also put it in your mailbox if you're using USPS as your shipping service. To see the final fees and your earnings for a sale, you'll go back to your seller hub by clicking the sale option up here. You'll go to orders, paid and shipped. You'll click on the order number right above the item. At the top will be the tracking info. Below that, we have purchase details and shipping details. And at the bottom right of this page is where you will see what the buyer paid and how much you earned for this sale. The buyer paid an item subtotal of $22 for these flats. They paid a shipping cost of $10.65, and they were also charged sales tax of $183, which made their grand total $34.48. Then we get to how my earnings are calculated down here. Everything that is in this light gray color with a minus in front of it is what was deducted from this order total. The first thing that was deducted was sales tax. Taxes are collected from your buyer, but then eBay will keep them. That way they can pay them to the state on your behalf. And if you'd like to learn more and read about how taxes work, you can click this blue link down here. They also deducted $4.44 as a transaction fee. This is how much eBay charged me to sell this item on their platform. I ended up paying only $8.82 for this shipping label. So after all that is said and done, my final earnings for this sale was $19.39. My next video is going to be my monthly reseller income report, where I share how much money I made and the good and the bad sales of the month. But after that, it will be the eBay video part 3, where I share some selling tips just to end off this series. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on those videos. In the meantime, you can leave a comment down below if you have any questions about anything that I talked about today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.